أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وسيد المرسلين وحبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين منتجبين المنتخبين المظلومين الغرر الميامين سيما بقية الله في الأراضين وحجته للخلائق أجمعين سيدنا وإمام زماننا وصاحب نعمتنا وولي أمرنا مهدي هذه الأمة وطووس أهل الجنة والحجة ابن الحسن العسكري فداه وارواح العالمين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Respected brothers and sisters and scholars in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is another refutation video that I'm making against a person who I have debated in the past, who I have made refutation videos against in the past. But he's made this video in which he has stated something about the Ahlulbayt. Someone asked him a question about the Ahlulbayt, and he mentioned that the verse in question, which is Surah Ahzab, which is chapter 33 verse 33, and he's saying that the Ahlulbayt that is being addressed to in this verse is the wives of the Prophet. And he was telling people that Aisha, Hafsa, Salman, etc. are being addressed in this verse. So I'm going to prove him wrong using Sunni sources that the Ahlul Bayt being mentioned in this verse is not Aisha, is not Hafsa, is not the wives, but it is in fact Ali, Muhammad, Hassan and Hussein alayhimus salam and Fatima salamullah alayha that is being addressed. So he begins, this is basically the video, so just listen to this and then we'll get back.
Ahlu means family, Bayt means house. Are you married?
Yes.
Is your wife in your house?
But in some hadith it says
Wait.
It's not part of my house.
No. Answer my question, please.
Yes.
Is she in your house?
Yes.
So she can be. She deserves to be called the family of the house because she's living in the house.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so now you've heard his statement. So he begins by us saying to one of his audience members who asked him a question. He says, "Are you married? Do you have a wife? Your wife will be called your Ahlul Bayt." Okay, no doubt. Now this is how I'm going to do this video. There are different types of Ahlul Bayt. Your blood relatives are your Ahlul Bayt. Your wives are your Ahlul Bayt, right? So to begin, I'm just going to say that your wives are your Ahlul Bayt. But is the Prophet's wives being addressed in this verse? Well, we'll find out now. Now, you cannot say that the wives of Rasulullah, the al-Mu'mineens, are being addressed in this verse because of several reasons. And I'll list them now. Now the first reason why you cannot say that the wives are included in this Ahlul Bayt is because it is narrated in Sahih Muslim 31, hadith number 5955, that only 5 people were in the cloak, narrated by Aisha, that only 5 people were in the cloak at the time of the revelation of this verse of chapter 33 verse 33, and they were Muhammad, Ali, Fatima, Hassan and Hussein. So now, using this Sahih Muslim hadith, my question to you, or anybody viewing this video who disagrees with me, my question is, why was Aisha or Hafsa or Salma or Maria or any of the wives of Rasulullah, why were they not in the cloak when Allah revealed this verse? Because this verse was revealed only for the people that were present in the cloak. So why were the wives not in the cloak? The fact that the wives were not in the cloak is 100% testimony that the wives are not being addressed to. If Rasulullah was being addressed, for example, if Allah revealed a verse, "Oh, you in the mosque, pray." Now, is this verse addressing all Muslims or is it only addressing those in the mosque? Clearly this verse is only addressing the people in the mosque because Allah started by saying, "Oh, you who are in the mosque." Now this verse is being revealed to those in the cloak. Now those that are out of the cloak, they are not being addressed to in this verse. Now let me show you another proof. Again, if we look at Sahih Muslim, my second reason why the wives are not included is if you look at Sahih Muslim, chapter of the virtues of the companions, section of the virtues of the Ahlul Bayt of the Prophet, 1980s edition, published in Saudi Arabia, Arabic version, volume 4, page 1883, tradition number 61. So take all that in. The Prophet asked for purification of 4 people that were present in the cloak. This narration in Muslim, Ghalat Muslim, or as you say Sahih Muslim, narrates that Rasulullah asked Allah to purify 4 people in the cloak and then purify him as well. So this narration clearly shows that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was told by Muhammad as a dua that can you please purify my Ahlul Bayt. And who are his Ahlul Bayt in Sahih Muslim? The 4 that were present in the cloak. So again, why were there no wives in the cloak? And why did Rasulullah not ask Allah to bless his wives? Now another proof that I can show you that the wives are not included in the Ahlul Bayt is a wife was actually denied entrance into the cloak. Did you know this? A wife, Salama, she was actually denied entrance in the cloak. How? I'll show you now. If you look at Sunan Tirmidhi, which is another authentic book deemed by the Sunnis, volume 5, page 351 and page 663, it states as follows. Salama approached the cloak and asked the Prophet, may she join them? So basically she said to the Prophet that may I join you in this cloak? And then she asked, am I included among this Ahlul Bayt? So Salama said, may I join you? Am I included amongst this Ahlul Bayt? The Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him and progeny, replied by saying, no, you remain in your position. You are towards a good ending. So she said, may I join you? Am I a part of this Ahlul Bayt? Rasulullah said, no, you remain where you are. The fact that the Rasulullah said, remain where you are, is clear enough proof that she is not a part of this Ahlul Bayt. If Salama is not a part of this Ahlul Bayt, that means Aisha is not a part of this Ahlul Bayt, and neither is Hafsa. Another narration about this incident, so this statement is more accepted, is if you look at Al-Mustadrak by Al-Hakim, volume 2, page 416. It states that Salama asked, am I not one of the members of your family? That am I not one of the Ahlul Bayt, Ya Rasulullah? Rasulullah said, you have a good future, but only these are the members of my family. So Salama is saying, Ya Rasulullah, am I a part of your Ahlul Bayt? Rasulullah is saying, oh Salama, you have a good future, but only these 4 are my Ahlul Bayt. Another proof that the wives are not included in the Ahlul Bayt. Another Sunni tradition supporting my argument is again Mustadrak al-Hakim, chapter of understanding the virtues of the companions, volume 3, page 148, in which it states, when the Prophet noticed that there was a blessing that was about to descend from Allah. So when Rasulullah noticed that there was a blessing that was about to descend from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he gathered the Ahlul Bayt. He said, Fatima, come here. Ali ibn Abi Talib, come here. Hassan al-Mushtaba, come here. Hussein, come here. He gathered these 4 esteemed personalities when he knew that there was a blessing that was about to descend. And he said to his wife Safiya, so Rasulullah said to his wife Safiya, O Safiya, call for me my Ahlul Bayt. Safiya said, Ya Rasulullah, who are your Ahlul Bayt? Rasulullah replied, O Safiya, they are Ali, Fatima, Hassan and Hussein. And then the Prophet said to Ali, Fatima and Hassan and Hussein, verily Allah intends to keep off from you every kind of uncleanliness, O Ahlul Bayt. So the Prophet is saying that Allah intends to remove blesses from you, O Ahlul Bayt, referring to Ali, Fatima, Hassan and Hussein. And then Allah reveals a verse saying, إِنَّمَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيُذْهِبَ عَنْكُمْ رِجْسَ أَهْلِ الْبَيْتِ وَيُطَهِّرَكُمْ تَطْهِيرًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala basically said what the Prophet said. The Prophet said to his family, meaning the 4, that Allah desires to bless you and remove blemishes from you. And then Allah says, verily I intend to bless you and remove blemishes from you. So again, why wasn't any mention of the wives in this? Why wasn't Aisha mentioned? Why wasn't Hafsa mentioned? The reason why Aisha, Hafsa and all the other wives of the Prophet are not mentioned in this is because they got nothing to do with the Ahlul Bayt addressed in this verse. Again, another proof. The Ahlul Bayt that is being addressed to in this verse can only be your blood relatives. It cannot be your wives. Why? I'll tell you why. Now, Aisha and Hafsa are wives of the Prophet. And let's say hypothetically that this stupid Dimishkiya is right. And hypothetically, let's say that this is the wives are being addressed to in this verse. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to Rasulullah, verily I intend to purify your Ahlul Bayt, O Muhammad, and I intend to perfect them with a perfect purification. Fair enough. Now when one of these wives are divorced by Rasulullah, that means that they are no longer a part of the Ahlul Bayt, correct? If a wife is divorced by Rasulullah, that means they are no longer a part of the Ahlul Bayt. So what are you saying? Allah intends to purify the wives. So Allah purifies them. But if Rasulullah divorces them, that purification is gone. And then if Rasulullah marries them again, that purification is back. What kind of stupidity is this? That Allah purifies them, but in case of a divorce, Allah takes back His purification. But in case of a remarriage, Allah gives them the purification again. And to prove this, in all of Sunni books, I don't even need to give narrations, but if you want me, I will. But in all Sunni books, it's narrated that Hafsa got divorced by Rasulullah. So now let's say Hafsa got purified, and then she got divorced by Rasulullah. Does that mean her purification was gone? Therefore, this purification can only be given to the Ahlulbayt of Muhammad that can never break from the Ahlulbayt. Wives can break from your Ahlulbayt upon a divorce. But Ali, Fatima, Hassan, Hussein alayhimus salam can never break from their Ahlul Bayt, from Muhammad, be it divorce or anything. They cannot break from that from his relationship, because they are his blood relatives. Another argument that I would like to present to you, proving that the wives are not being mentioned, is there's a hadith from Rasulullah in which he stated that there are 10 levels of Iman. Of faith, there are 10 levels, 10 stages. And Salman al-Farisi has reached the 10th stage. When Salman al-Farisi reached the 10th stage, Rasulullah said, Salman is a part of my Ahlul Bayt. So Salman is a part of Rasulullah's Ahlul Bayt. So I would like to ask Dimishqiya, the Majnoon, Ya Dimishqiya, Rasulullah is saying that Salman is a part of his Ahlul Bayt. Salman comes under the title of Ahlul Bayt. And Allah is saying, Ya Ahlul Bayt, I want to purify you with a perfect purification. Answer my question, has Salman been purified within this Ahlul Bayt? Of course not. The proof that Salman is Ahlul Bayt is the hadith of Rasulullah. But Salman, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, as a great companion of Rasulullah, he is not purified. Why? If he's Ahlul Bayt, he should be purified. The fact that Salman isn't purified means that Aisha isn't purified, Hafsa isn't purified, and the wives of Rasulullah are not purified. Also, another one that I would like to tell you is that narrated in Sahih Muslim, section of Virtues of Ali ibn Abi Talib, volume 4, page 1874, tradition 37, regarding the hadith of Thaqalain, regarding when the Prophet said, Inni tarikum fikum al-Thaqalain, Kitabullahi wa itrati wa Ahlulbayti. The Prophet said that I am leaving you two weighty and wealthy things, not wealthy, two weighty things, the Ahlul Bayt and the Quran, or the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt. A companion of Rasulullah known as Zayd ibn Arqam was asked, Ya Zayd, are the wives of Rasulullah included in this hadith of Thaqalain because they are his Ahlul Bayt? He said, no by Allah, now listen to these words of Zayd. He said, no by Allah, when a wife is divorced, she is no longer the Ahlul Bayt of her husband. Therefore the wives are not being mentioned in this Ahlul Bayt. Another proof that the wives of the Ahlul Bayt are not being addressed in this verse. Now that's basically done and refuted. So Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad on this. He also says something else. So let's listen to what he says.
The Prophet used to be passing by with his son Al-Hassan. His son Al-Hassan cup, he picked a piece of date. And the Prophet said to him, Kikh, leave it. It may be property of charity.
Did you hear that? So he's saying that Rasulullah slapped a date out of the hand of Imam Hassan. Where's your proof? Firstly, don't say stupid things. Where's your proof that Rasulullah did this? And secondly, is this the ikhlaq that you are trying to portray about Rasulullah? Is this the ikhlaq that you think Rasulullah had? Rasulullah, a person upon whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in Surah Anbiya verse 107, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We have not sent Muhammad but as a mercy to the worlds. Muhammad is a mercy for the world, and he's slapping his grandson? That's clearly a false, that's a stupid hadith. It doesn't even exist. It's not in any Shia book. So why are you misleading your audience? There is no way that Rasulullah would slap a date out of the hand of Imam Hassan. Also, what was the reason he wanted to tell Hassan that sadaqah, charity, is haram for him? You think Hassan didn't know this? You think that Imam Hassan did not know that charity was haram for him? Of course he knew that. And the fact that Imam Hassan knew that charity was haram for him is the biggest proof that Imam Hassan would not have picked up a date that was charity to begin with, let alone let Rasulullah slap the date out of Imam Hassan's hand. So firstly, you've been exposed in the debate that I had with you about Khilafat. Then you hacked my channel and you had it closed. Secondly, you've been exposed that Aisha and Hafsa and the wives of Rasulullah are not a part of the Ahlul Bayt addressed in this verse. And thirdly, you've been exposed for lying and saying that Rasulullah slapped a date out of Imam Hassan's hand. Is this the akhlaq that you're trying to portray about Rasulullah? Anyway, concluded, refuted, exposed. Thank you very much for viewing. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.